Hello everyone, welcome to another Versus video. I am BBD joined by
VanMeter.
Christopher VanMeter. I'm Poison Counter joined by Chris VanMeter. And we're going to play a little game, a battle of wits, some would say.
That I have been continually losing.
Yes, yes. So the key here is to never challenge me at a battle. I don't even know where I'm going with that.
I guess.
All right, we're not
quite
even
a blunder.
We're not even gonna look at these cards. I'm just gonna put them down.
All right, flip them.
All right, he got me. So, all right, he got me this time. Yes. Whatever, it's fine. It
when
happens.
I'm playing the one-drop deck.
Yeah. Oh man, this hand is. Woo.
Well, it's definitely not as bad as my hand. So, I mean, we have this, and we have these, and we can cast everything we draw.
Lucky.
So, these are the kinds of hands with this deck that I am tempted to keep, but usually get burned.
Well, good news, I don't have any burn in my deck.
But I'm feeling lucky, so
all right.
I'm going to keep it.
All right, well, my hand is fine. It's a little on the plotting end of the spectrum, but, you know, that's just how this deck is, so we'll keep it. No. All right, Unleash Cackler.
We're going to play that one over this one because this one only has one toughness.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and scry with this thing. And I don't think that we're interested in another come to play tapped land, so I'll go ahead and ship that one away. You're up.
All right, well, that's not what I wanted to see. So we will scry. And this is an actual spell, so we'll keep that one. And I'll attack for 2.
18.
Go ahead.
All right, well, we were facing down. Well, that's a pretty bad one. Not going to lie. Ugh. So I think I actually kind of like. I guess there's a couple lines of thought here. One is we can play either of these two cards, and I kind of think that this is like a little bit of a better play, but it's also like a little worse depending on what we draw. So I think I'm just gonna shock myself. I'm just going to play Voyaging Satyr and say go.
Okay, so we knew what we were drawing. These guys, attack for 6.
Okay, I take 6 down to 10.
And go.
Yeah, it looks like a real bad hand, CVM. It's a really bad one.
I mean, we scried this to the top.
Yeah. That hand's just terrible.
If you only knew.
I'm going to go ahead and scry with Temple of Plenty, and I'm going to keep that, even though it's a little weak. I'm going to go ahead and Mizium Mortars your Rakdos Cackler, and say go.
All right, we need a non-land spell here. That was a good one. These guys.
All right, take it all.
Go ahead.
Well, the only thing I can do here is Mizium Mortars a Mogus Marauder. Go.
Right. I'll take another non-land spell.
Just every turn?
It's another one.
Yeah, well, I'm dead.
My end was 5-land hero Rakdos Cackler.
Jeez. All right, we are back for game number 2, where hopefully Mogus's Marauder does not similarly destroy us. This hand actually looks a lot better than the hand we had before. I know it's very similar, but we can actually curve out since some of our lands come into play untapped. So,
well, this hand has less land than my last hand. And by less, I mean 5 less.
Oh.
All right, so we are back for the best 6. Well, these 3 are already quite good. And the rest of it's awkward, but I mean, I'm not going to go to 5.
Alright, I will begin things off with the old Scry, and I'm going to bottom that card because it's not very good against his deck. So.
Alright, well, that's not bad. Go.
How can one man be so lucky? It's the question we're all asking ourselves. I'm going to shock myself and play Sylvan Caryatid. You're up. Guy can block Cackler for days.
He can. So here we have to decide what the best route's going to be. Since we drew this, it actually changes our game plan a little bit. So I can do these two here, or I can do this now and just start pressuring. And I think I like that a little bit better. It's going to make him have to use a removal spell here. I'll go to 18, Madcap Skills, and attack for 5.
13.
Go.
That's an okay draw. Might be useful for us later in the game. I'll go ahead and scry. I think we want this card just for like the body and life gain. We're just gonna Mizzium Mortars this guy. You're up.
Okay, so here I can do this with this, or I can just play these and cast both of these, but I don't think that really does anything just yet. So I'd rather that we get a scry and get to see what we're working with here. And I think this card is actually still very good, so I'm going to leave that on top. I'll play a Cackler Unleashed and then pass.
Old Unleashed Cackler. Alright, so... Alright, 13... He could have some piece of removal, but I think we still just want to get Pelucranos out here. So, say go. If he kills it, then so be it. But I think it's just worth having that guy out there.
All right. So we knew what we were drawing here, and so I think that we want to do this now. You have how many cards? 3?
Yep.
So we want to do this now and attack. And then if we play this post-combat, and that will allow us to do this the following turn, but then it's not lethal. The other option would be to just cast this now and get in for 4. And I don't think that that's going to be worthwhile. I think our best bet is to just get in for 5.
8.
And I don't really want to cast this guy yet, because then he can just Monstrous his Polycranos and kill it. But then that means we can't kill him next turn if he has a removal spell for the Madcap Skills. Or for the Rakdos Cackler. As it stands now, he also can just Monstrous his Polycranos for 2. So I'm actually just going to cast this guy and then pass the turn.
Okay. Well, that was not what we wanted. We wanted to draw a land there.
Oh no, do you have a Mizzium Mortars? Another one?
Well, we have to kill his creatures in some capacity here, I think. We can also just present enough creatures to block. Like if we know the top card of our deck's a land that comes into play untapped, we would rather just play this. But that's just not a given at all. So you have one card?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just going to Monstrous Pelucranos and kill this thing. And then say go.
Alright, so we need any 1-drop? That's not a 1-drop. Alright, well, we'll do this.
Good.
Trigger. So I'll put you at 2.
3.
2, 3. Yeah, also 3. And then I'll pass.
Alright, deck. I'll play Courser. So it would have been better to attack with Pelucranos last turn if we knew. Actually, maybe it was just better to attack Pelucranos anyway. Probably was, to be honest. I'm going to scry, go to 4. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep Celestine Charm on top of my deck. And I'll attack for 7 this turn. So.
11.
Go ahead. Yeah, I should have attacked last turn, actually. That was a mistake.
Alright, so we need a land.
The Herald Torment?
Yeah. And... oh, that doesn't do it. Well... so I can play this and attack. He has to... well... so this will put him at 2. Then he would just block these 2 creatures and leave the Herald unblocked. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He can actually kill me with the charm on the crackback. Huh. Yeah, if you had attacked last turn with Pelucranos, this would be much worse for me.
Yeah. That was a blunder, but...
so what is the best route here to not lose? So we can attack with just the Spiteful Returned and throw it away. That way we'll get in 2 damage guaranteed. If we do that, three, 4, 5, 6. So Herald of Torment on the Spiteful Returned will be 6 damage, and it can't be charmed. So I don't think I attack with the Spiteful Returned here, and I just play the Spike Jester and pass. The problem is if he has Mizium Mortars, there's just like no way we can win this, regardless of how I attack. So I think that I just play the Spike Jester and pass, and our plan is going to be to chump the Pelucranos with the Mogus' Marauder when he attacks next turn. Does that work? I also could just play the Herald and attack. Yeah, I could just play the Herald, attack with the Spiteful Returned, which puts him at 2. He can go up to 3 with the Courser of Kufix. And if he has a removal spell for the Herald, this Buffer Drone will be dead. That's pretty rough. I have a feeling that he just has another Mizzing Mortars, so I think that I'm actually just going to I'll attack.
Block.
So you go to 2, this guy dies. I'll play the Herald Torment.
Yep.
And then I'll pass.
Boo. Alright, so let's see.
So that attack last turn might seem a little dubious, but I feel like I'm not winning if he has some Mizzing Mortars, and if he doesn't have a removal spell, then this line actually gives me a shot to win, even through him having a land for his Courser.
Alright, well. So this is 9. He has to block. He has to block Pelucranos. Yeah, I think let's see, we send both. We're attacking for 9, he's at 11. He has to block Pelucranos or he dies. If he blocks this, we can Celestial Charm it and kill his Herald Torment. So, I'll send them both in.
So I do have to block here. If I block with just the Mogus's Marauder, then I'm dead to a double Celestial Charm, but I think I'm fine with that. And if I block there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If he charms, he can put me at 2, and I'll go to 1 from my Herald. Yeah, I'll block the Pelucranos with the Marauder.
Okay. Take 2.
9.
Go.
All right.
So you go to 8.
Yeah, I go to 8. So our outs here are Mogus's Marauder, Madcap Skills, any of the 3 removal spells, Lightning Strike, Spiteful Returned. A lot of cards, basically.
A lot of cards, actually. Yeah, all right, just the basic mountain.
The basic mountain gets me.
Is that one of your outs? Yeah.
And I am dead. Yeah, all right. So I can survive next turn, I guess. Go ahead.
All right. I think you're still dead, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, you have that charm.
Yeah.
So
Gain. Go to 3. Play Xenagos. Make a Satyr. Let's see. Block here, and I just charm over and kill you. So.
Yeah, you just charm.
Yeah.
Whichever one this guy's on.
Yeah, if I had attacked, so like. Yeah, holding back the Pelucranos is like.
Oh, this was an out too. I didn't even count this. You could put it on your dragon. Had I called it out, I would have drew it. Man, literally my entire deck, but the basic land mountain wasn't out there.
Mana Confluence was on out.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That was a sweet game.
All right, so we are back for sideboarding. As you can see, I'm bringing in an absurd amount of hate. Jets, Sprays, Angers, and Fiendslayer Paladins to really just kill everything that CVM could ever conceive of even doing.
Yeah, I was kind of wishing that I could get out of the pre-board games 2-0, but...
Well, I punted enough to give you a chance, but basically in Mountain Reared, its beautiful head. Yep. That was the mountain that rides me into game 3. So we are going to go ahead and cut our expensive spells that are not very good when we're pretty much going to die before we can get to cast any of these. I am leaving in 1 Elspeth. In games where you don't have Mogus's Marauder or Lifebane Zombie, Elspeth's like very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am leaving in 2 Xenaghosts because a turn 3 Xenaghost, depending on the texture of the game, could be fine. It's also a good follow-up to cards like Anger of the Gods.
Xenaghost is also, as far as from what I found playing it in Monsters, in matchups where Mizium Mortars, or an Overlord Mizium Mortars is basically going to seal the deal, Xenaghost is a very good card at getting you to that point.
Yeah.
So it's just like another mana accelerant to let you overload a mortar or something like 4 or 5.
Yeah, and I actually think that Xenaghost gets so much better in post-board games because of all these cards. I can go like, kill your guy, Xenaghost, whereas in pre-board games I just have to be like, Xenaghost, hopefully you don't have a Madcap Skills or a Herald or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I think he gets a little bit better in these post-board games.
I'm also actually citing quite a bit of cards. So I don't think Madcap Skills is very good against decks that have access to a lot of removal.
Yep.
And I think that Spike Jester is not very good against Courser Krufix and 1/2 Voyaging Satyrs. Same for Tormented Hero. So we're bringing in the 4th Roadkill Assassin, ultimate price as removal spells for cards like Courser and Pulkranos, and 3 Thoughtseizes as ways to be proactive against cards like Anger of the Gods, Mizium Mortars, that will be a problem for me.
All right, cool. I guess we'll see how that plays out.
Yep.
All right, we are back for game number 3, a game in which I hope that I play poorly and get rewarded in. And this hand is, oof. All
right, well, this hand isn't too exciting, but we have some real cute cards, so I'm going to keep them.
This hand is exciting, and we have some really good cards, so I'm going to snap keep this potentially best 7.
Go ahead.
Oh, old Gnarled.
Yep, old Gnarly.
Getting gnarly. So I could do this, but I could do this, but I'd rather just start us off with a little bit of a Scry. Ooh, that's a spicy number. I'm gonna keep that. We have not seen that card yet.
Uh-oh.
Could be an interesting one. I wouldn't say uh-oh. It's not exactly the most imposing of sovereigns.
We're just gonna attack.
18.
And I think that we want to just deploy this gentleman here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He's got those thrills that kill. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and scry again. Try to set ourselves up for later. Oh. Well, we can't cast it yet, but that is a card. Go.
All right. So I imagine that my Scarhide's going to be dying here to a magma spray. So we're just going to attack for...
Yeah, we're going to Magma Spray the Gnarled Scarhide. Take 2 to 16. Hope he doesn't have a stick follow-up.
So I can cast this now, and we get punished by Anger of the Gods. But I think that we just kind of have to hope that he doesn't have it. So we're going to go to 18, and I'll life things over to you.
Rats.
Okay. So we have red. Hopefully there's not an Anger on top of your deck. Elspeth. Keening App. Setter. Jet. And a Courser.
So you have your choice between 3 fine creatures here.
Yeah, three fine gentlemen over there. 3 non-blondes. So let's, I think that Courser Prefix is kind of a rough card. So I think that we are just going to take the Courser.
Old stay the course.
Yep. And then I'll pass the turn.
Alright, well we know what we're drawing in. It is uncastable. So we're going to go ahead and play a mountain and we're just going to go ahead and pass the turn.
So there's also an argument for taking not a Courser to try and get you to cast a Courser this turn, since I have a removal spell for it, and put you off the Magma Jet there for a turn. Fortunately, I think that by leaving with the Courser lets you know that I have a removal spell, and you're just not going to cast it anyways. So ultimately, I'd rather you just not have the Courser as we move forward into the game. So hopefully that was right. That's a pretty good spell.
Lucky.
Not so good right now because of what you have in your hand.
Keening Apparition?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Keening Apparition.
All right. Well, we're
Just
gonna attack.
All right. I'm gonna cast Magma Jet on this Lifebane zombie.
Yeah, well, he's gonna die.
I'm going to scry twice. Oh, those are both goods. Those are both good ones. I'm actually going to leave them. So these are the two cards. I actually want both of these cards. Unfortunately, I wish this came to play untapped, but we can't have everything, so I'm just going to keep them both on top in that order.
All right, so you take 2.
Yep.
14. All right, so we're going to Thoughtseize.
Oh, gross.
Puts me at 16, and oh, that is a Fiendslayer Paladin. Man, I'm glad you couldn't cast that guy that turn. Although I think I might have been fine. Like, I would have been able to take your Magma Jet and
Maybe race, yeah.
maybe race. But cause, like, you can't block either of my guys.
Can't block.
So we have Elspeth, Voyage, Keening App, and a Paladin. Alright, well, as much as I would like to take that Keening Apparition, I think I have to take your Paladin.
Gross.
And we'll pass.
Voyaging Satyr, and I will scry. Go.
You can leave it on top.
So lucky.
Alright, well, we're going to ultimate price this guy.
Paid.
So we know that he has a Keening Apparition and an Elspeth on top. That was a cute card.
Wow.
Get rid of the Apparition, leave you with the Elspeth, attack for 2.
I'm down to 12.
And it's your turn.
That was a good draw. Alright. Kill your Lifebane zombie. Go.
Attack for 2, play a Herald and pass.
Make a Satyr.
Yep.
And say go. So you lose one.
15.
Are you at 15? Did you shock yourself?
I thought seized. I shocked.
I don't think you shocked though, did you? Oh, you did? Okay. I guess you shocked her. I missed the shock.
Yeah, I shocked on 3 when I cast the Lifebane.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we know he has an Elspeth here. We definitely have to send this Herald at the Xenaghost to stop him from being able to cast the Elspeth if he draws a white land next turn. Alright, so I'll send the Herald at the Xenaghost and the Thrill at you.
Alright, I'll take... Go to 8.
And then we will unleash the Rakdos Cackler. And I will pass the turn.
Basically enforced, go. Strong.
Alright, so we're going to go to 14. And I'll draw a card. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can put him at 3. Yeah, I'll just attack.
Block this thing.
I'll pass. Actually, I might have been right to use the removal spell there, but...
Alright, we are back for this game. This hand's a little gross, but I'm going to keep it because I don't want to... I don't know. His Thoughtseizes aren't that good against this hand, so...
Oh man, this is the exact scenario that I knew was going to happen.
Mountain mana confluences?
No, just mountain.
Oh, okay.
It casts Rakdos Cackler though, so I have a turn 1 play. And I have other castable cards. Oh man, and I'm on the draw. So there are 22, 20, 17. So there's 17 cards in my deck that produce black mana. 43. So I'm like a 40-ish percenter. Alright, I'll keep it.
Go. So I'm leading with Stomping Ground over Temple because I want to be able to effectively cast my cards without paying.
Go.
And here, I'm just going to cast Sylvan Caryatid.
Oh, that is just like the best card against me right now.
Just blocks that Cackler for days.
Definitely does. I only drew a black mana.
Oh. How lucky.
And I think that we just want to play this. Now let's go hide and then pass. We're definitely a bit behind the curve, but oh well.
I'm just going to go ahead and scry. I don't know if I want this card or not. I'm going to say that I don't because it doesn't really do anything, so I'm just going to bottom it and say go.
Alright, so here's where we're going to use the Thoughtseize.
Well, he had to have the Thoughtseize, so...
16, so he has Anger. Okay, so you didn't play the Satyr to try and either Magma Jet or utilize the Anger. So Anger, Temple, Garden, Green-White Temple, Jet, Satyr. 2, 3. Alright, so as awkward as this sounds, I think that I don't want him to be able to scry with that Magma Jet. And I don't really care if he angers here. Because like I'm not able to like empty my hand since I'm stuck on black mana anyways. And both of these I can just start bestowing if I draw another land. So I'm actually just going to take your Magma Jet.
Okay.
We're going to ship with these two guys.
I'll block one of them.
I'll play a land and pass.
We'll go ahead and scry. We'll bottom that. We don't need any more lands. And yeah, I still don't want to play my guy out. Well, maybe I do, just to force him to extend more. Yeah, I'll go ahead and play it out because I don't think this card's really like going to be that impressive post anger anyway. So I'll just play it out and say go. Now that he knows about the anger, he's not going to overextend into it.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to strike this guy.
He's been stricken.
And a land here would be sweet. Well, that is not a land. Alright, we're going to attack.
Alright, I'm just going to block one again. Go to 16. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has an anger and a temple garden. And I think that we're fine with him angering next turn. And we're play this guy and then pass. So that might give him enough incentive to use his Anger of the Gods.
Well, that's kind of gross. Yeah, we are going to go ahead and just anger here. Getting a 3 for 2 is fine. Let's take go. Although we really need to draw some gas. We've been scrying a lot to the bottom. That Thoughtseize he had really destroyed us.
Yeah, taking the Magma Jet.
Like, regardless of what you take, it was just bad for me.
Yeah. Because you have mortars and the 2 mana guys, I think it might have been better to jet in response. Like, just let me take the anger and then play to join into another anger or Museum mortars.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, I'm kind of glutted on mana, so it's going to be tough for me to give you value on the anger anyways. So I think that we want to just cast this guy and pass. I don't really want to play out both of my creatures. Go ahead.
Alright, I'm just going to make a Knight. Celestia Charm.
Sure.
And we'll go ahead and scry. Put it on the bottom. Attack for 2.
14.
Go.
I'll bestow.
Yep.
And attack.
I'll block.
Sure, so you lose the 2 and go to 14, and we trade. Because the 2/2 is the 3/2. Go.
Alright, that's finally a good card. I'll play Courser Crucifix.
Yep.
Alright, we'll go
Lucky.
to 15. Put that on the bottom. Alright, we have put about 40 lands on the bottom, so go. Hopefully we reach the end shortly. Feeling he has a removal spell.
Yeah, we'll downfall that guy. Trigger.
Alright, I'm at 12.
Go ahead.
Alright, I'll just cast this.
Yep.
Go.
We'll just pass.
I'll scry. I'll bottom it. Go.
Unleash.
Okay.
Go.
Scry. Bottom. Go.
Jeez. Alright, well that's a good card. So, what's the best way to get use out of this card? I think that it's going to be... Yeah, so we're going to... I'll go to 13, we're going to bestow here.
Okay.
Combat.
So I think our best bet here is to draw like another Anger or a Museum Mortar, so I'm going to go ahead and kill the Spiteful Return before attacks.
Okay. I'll
Good.
attack with the throw kill.
Go to 10.
I'll play a land and pass.
No, that's not it. Go.
12. 5.
I'm at 5.
Go.
And I'm dead. Alright, we are back again. And hopefully... Oh, man.
Mine's not good.
Yeah, mine's really bad. So... This hand's close, I think, actually. Because if we do draw a red source, this hand's actually very good. And we do have a Scryland. In worst case, we have this thing. We have cards like Sylvan Caryatid. So I think I'm actually going to keep it. This is a pretty risky hand, but the payoff is just so high that I think it's worth it. So.
Well, these were my first 3 cards.
All right.
And then they just don't have anything, so
yeah.
we're going to ship it. Oh, man. Look at that gas right off the top. All right. Best 6 NA.
I think you've had enough best 6s.
Man. This hand is like real good if I draw some number of lands. Well, my last hand was like terrible without a black source, and there are more lands in my deck now than there were black sources last game, so I'm gonna keep.
All right, Scry. Oh man, that's just the worst card to see. It's the actual worst card to see. Because that lets us cast this, but doesn't. I'm gonna bottom it. Whatever. Go. That was the one card I just didn't want to see that card. Okay.
Go ahead.
Go.
Oh, Lord. Oh, so it was a white mana producing land?
It was a Temple Garden, yeah. So I can either keep the Temple Garden, but if you have Thoughtseize, it's just terrible. Or I can bottom it and draw another one of these random things.
Spray. ×2. Anchor. Jet. Well, this is not looking good for us.
I mean, I think it looks perfectly good for you.
I mean, you're a red source away from just winning the game.
I think we both know that that's probably just not going to happen.
All right. So the problem is I also can't beat Fiendslayer Paladin. So I want to take the Magma Jet to stop him from being able to scry into more awesome stuff. But if he hits a red source, we're just going to be so far behind it won't matter. So I'd rather just take the Fiendslayer Paladin, and I guess we just have to hope he never draws a red source. So I go to 18. We'll attack.
18.
And I luckily drew a land.
Yep.
And I'll pass.
Go. 16.
Oh, we didn't draw another land, so let's play this and pass.
Go. 12.
Alright, we're going to shock to 16, and then Lifebane Zombie to 15. I just have no targets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, go ahead.
Alright, that's actual game. There's no
red source.
There's no series I can draw. Yeah.
Jeez. God, that hand is so good if you hit a red source.
Well, there's about 7 more cards down, so. Alright, we are back for the conclusion of this matchup. I actually felt like a landfill the way I got dumped on. Yeah,
you could have used some land in the last game.
I could have, yeah, I could have used, did not get
those basic land mountains that we were scorning in my deck.
Yes, they would have been sweet here. Also, could have used a little bit less of a landfill in Game 4, but it's, that's the way the deck shuffles, I guess.
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. So,
what do you think about the Naya deck? Was it big range enough for you?
No, it wasn't. I think it was too big range.
You seem to have some trouble casting your spells on time with all the temples.
I did, yeah. I wasn't too happy with all the temples. I think, kind of like monsters, you want maybe 6-ish, and then you just want shocks to fill the rest out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather take a lot of damage and cast my spells on time than scry. I don't think this deck needs to set up its draws that much. You're just gonna draw your big old cards and you're gonna cast them when you can. So I don't think it's that imperative to scry. I'm not that interested in playing all those temples. So yeah, I like playing more shocks, less temples, definitely. And I actually, Keening Apparition was actually really cool.
He seemed pretty sweet.
Yeah,
especially against my deck with a bunch of enchantment creatures, but he definitely seemed sweet.
Yeah, both times I had it, you had Herald of Torment. Both times you were able to
get rid of it first.
Yeah, either Lifebane Zombie it or whatever. So But yeah, I felt like this deck has like a lot of powerful cards, but was a little clunky. And so that would be the first thing I would address is probably try to like tighten up the deck some with maybe less temples. I kind of want to I want to lower the curve some, maybe add in some banishing lights and things like that.
Now, one card that I noticed was actually missing from this deck. We didn't talk about it in the deck text, but traditionally in these decks you see Voice of Resurgence.
Yeah.
And we don't have Voice of Resurgence here. Do you think that there's a place for it, or is it just not good enough? Like, I feel like Voice is good against everything but the other mid-range decks, which is, you know, about 2/3 of the field right now. And even then, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I think Voice is actually still fine against those decks. Like, I actually agree. I think Voice definitely deserves a spot here. And then there's even another card, and this is the card I thought you were going to say, Scavenging is also missing from this deck.
Yep.
So those are two cards I would immediately look towards as well. Now, this deck doesn't kill that many creatures, so Ooze isn't like as devastating as it is in like Jund Monsters, where you have like Domri and Dreadbores and things like that to really clear the way. But creatures die a lot in combat, so I still think Ooze is a good place to be.
Fair enough. As far as the black-red aggro deck goes, I feel like, you know, it was pretty fun. Obviously, I got lucky and drew very well, so that's always a plus. But I don't feel like the red gives the deck enough to warrant playing a bunch of ugly basic mountains and Spike Jester. Like, I think that I would just much rather have the full 12 1-drops and play like Thoughtseizes in the main instead of having some lightning strikes.
That seems reasonable, yeah. I felt like the 1-2 punch of Lifebane Mogis' Marauder were both very good.
Yeah.
At least in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, like, Mogis' Marauder is very good. It's one of the few cards that's really impressed me when I've played against this deck. I actually played against this deck multiple times this last weekend, and got to do some pretty dirty things to them with Golgari Charm. But other than that, I feel like this deck could potentially be good. It's, you know, one of those aggressive decks that gives you some reach because you have so many creatures to bestow, so you get to play at every stage of the game. So it's like, you know, if you don't have all your lands, you can play your creatures as, you know, just 2/1s and 1/1s and 3/3s and attack. But those times where you are being flooded out, you actually get to play some Magic and not just be stuck with bad creatures.
One thing I want to say about Mogis' Marauder is I was 6-1 in the Pro Tour, and my board was a Corsair Crewfix and an Elspeth with 3 soldiers, and I was at 22 life. And my opponent's board was a Spiteful Returned, a Gnarled Scarhide, and a Tormented Hero. And he cast Mogis' Marauder 3 turns in a row, and I died. So that card is pretty powerful. I went from being in a position where I could almost conceive of no possible way that I could lose into losing to 3 Mogis' Marauders. So yeah, that card is quite powerful in this kind of a deck.
It's kind of like what happened in Game 1.
It is actually exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened.
Man, I'm just on the wrong end of a Mogis Marauder. It's just my bane.
So
Bane.
maybe it's time to turn that around and, you know, change your life for the better with Mogis' Marauder. Are we going to be sleeving it up this weekend in Indianapolis?
No, but I'm probably going to sleeve up some black creatures so I can still block. So,
fair.
Yeah, Returned Reveler, you know, the old 1/3, he's going to be not in my deck, but he could block. So
now we are going to be in Indianapolis this weekend.
We are.
So there's a very good chance that I'm just going to be playing Jund Monsters again, since I have continued to do well with it. Are you going to stay on the Monsters train, or are you kind of tinkering with something else?
So Monsters is a very, very good deck, and I'm familiar with it, and it is probably the best deck for me to play for the tournament. However, I'm getting a little bored with it. I kind of want to do something new, so I'm going to be doing some brewing this week, and I may come to Indianapolis with something new. But if I don't find anything good, then I'll probably just be playing Monsters as well. Now,
you are already qualified for the Players' Championship.
Correct.
So you have the liberty to have a little fun if you need to this weekend and play something a little different. I myself am in a race with Eric Rill, so I'm just going to play the deck that I know how to play. So as much as I'd love to be casting Eidolon of Blossoms, because that card is sweet, I'm probably still just going to be on Jund Monsters. Not saying that decks like these two that we played today, you know, aren't fun and have potential, being as, you know, these decks both made the top 16 of the Open this weekend. But it just goes to show that you should play what you are familiar with. A lot of people always come up and ask Brian and I what they can do to get better at Magic, how they can make their performance in the Opens and in their local tournaments better. And I really feel like Standard at the moment, there isn't a #1 best deck. There are a handful of decks that are all very powerful, and as long as you're familiar with your deck and have a good sideboard plan, you can be successful in any tournament you play in.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's it for this week. We're always looking for some awesome new decks to play. That's why we're playing these decks from the Open this last weekend. There wasn't anything in the top 8 that kind of sparked our interest as far as new and innovative, but we're always looking for something new to try out in these Versus videos. So if you have any suggestions or any deck that you'd like to see us play in Standard that we haven't played yet, feel free to hit us up in the comments on the video and let us know, and we'll definitely take it into consideration.
No, I will. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely will.
Especially if it's mid-range, but.
If it has Elspeth in it, he's already listening.
Yeah, if you have a deck with Elspeth, you should just lead with 2 Elspeth. Sun's Champion is the first card, and I'll be scrolling through and be like, all right, this is the deck. Yeah.
Just gonna stop and read it. So again, guys, thank you so much for stopping by this week and hanging out with us. For BBD, I'm CVM, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you later.